After really a tremendous amount of study with some of the best architects in the world, we determined that really knocking it down, trying to use a little section. You know, the East Wing was not much. There was not much left from the original. So over the years, many presidents have made changes. This obviously would be the biggest change, but this was something they've wanted for at least 150 years.
Could have done for housing, education, or healthcare instead. Like that is a lot, okay? Instead of feeding people who are, struggling, he's just busy feeding his own ego, and that is very bad. That is a bad leadership right there, okay? So let's watch together, of course, and see the videos, and of course hear what people have to say, and I will get back after a while.
Many people were surprised the entire East Wing is being demolished because you had said initially that the ballroom would just touch or would not.
Well,
touch
certain
it.
areas
What
are being
happened?
certain areas are being left. We determined that after really a tremendous amount of study with some of the best architects in the world, we determined that really knocking it down, trying to use a little section. You know, the East Wing was not much. There was not much left from the original. It was over the course of 100 years, it was changed, the columns were removed, and it was a much different building. Then a story was added on in 1948, 1949. There was a story added on, which was not particularly nice. And the building was very, very much changed from what it was originally. It was never thought of as being much. It was a very small building. And rather than allowing that to hurt a very expensive, beautiful building that, frankly, they've been after for years. You have that. I brought these along so people could see, but it's about $300 million. It's set to do many, many things, including meetings of foreign leaders, including the honoring of foreign leaders. You can see this. This is a plan. If it's got tables so that you honor a foreign leader, we have a proper space. Right now, we have a space that with tables holds about 79 people. And this is a proper kind of a thing. Now, what the White House was doing, as you know, is they were putting tents out on the lawn. This is an interior shot of the ballroom. I think there'll be nothing like it. And it's being paid for 100% by me and some friends of mine, donors to it. The government's paying absolutely nothing. We're also working with the military on it because they want to make sure everything's perfect. And the military is very much involved in this. They want to make sure everything is absolutely beautiful. You can see the kind of interiors that we're talking about. That's an interior of the ballroom. And it's the highest level. And you see it goes beautifully with the White House. I mean, the mix is beautiful.
While Trump out here playing Bob the Builder, legally, he's not even supposed to be doing that. The White House is a protected national landmark. And with a national protected landmark, you got to go through a lot before you just get to tearing stuff down. You got to go through the authorities, through Congress, to drastically alter the White House, to demolish the White House. You can't just get on the phone and call Tyrone. There aren't any consequences for Donald Trump. Trump already told us, I don't know why y'all don't listen to this man, that he will be a dictator. We pissed him off with the No Kings protest. So he said, okay, I'm gonna show you who ain't no king. He ain't no king, but he's showing us that he's becoming a dictator. Trump praises people like Vladimir Putin. He promised retribution against his political opponent. He uses the military against people who just protest. Trump cried like a baby after that No Kings protest. You know he immature. And he went back to that White House and he called Tyrone and he said, knock all this shit down with his little arm. Knock all this shit down. So they didn't knock the East Wing off. I knew it was coming. Just think, broke as you is right now. If you knew you could go to the bank, rob the bank, and there wasn't no consequences after, and you can be living good, wouldn't you go rob the bank? Ain't no consequences. Why wouldn't I go rob the bank? I'm gonna rob the motherfucker. I'm not really sure what we can do. I know what should be done, but I can't say that on the internet. That's more of a private conversation. I'm in his homeboy.
This probably goes without saying, but Trump is tearing down the East Wing of the White House to build a $250 million ballroom because he doesn't plan on leaving that place. You don't remodel a house you don't plan on staying in. Every other president plans on leaving at some point, whether it's within 4 years or 8 years, but not him. And not just him, his entire regime. And I know that we all know this because of the way that they're tampering with our elections, because of the way that they're rolling back our rights, and especially our voting rights, the way that they post videos of themselves, especially him, as kings. But this is physical, clear evidence that he does not plan on leaving. Keep in mind, we're not even a single year into his current presidency, and he's already remodeling the White House. By the time he's done, it's going to be completely and totally different. Because again, he doesn't plan on leaving. He's turning this into his own palace. Because in his mind, he's a king. And he's doing this while rent has hit unprecedented highs. Cardi B is apologizing for asking us to buy her album at all. Rent is so high. Grocery prices are just unspeakable. The unemployment crisis rages on. Our voting rights are being rolled back. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And he's doing it because he doesn't care about the people. He cares about himself. And I know we all know that, but it bears repeating.
So did y'all not see that y'all president went down in history yesterday? He demolitioned the East Wing part of the White House to create a $250 million ballroom. What does he need a $250 million ballroom for? Well, he said the old one used to hold 88 people. This one, he wants it to hold 999. You flip that, that's 666.
We're building right behind us. We're building a ballroom. They've wanted a ballroom for 150 years. And I'm giving that honor to this wonderful place. I think we should do it. This was the ballroom, and this room holds 88 people, and the new one will hold 999 people, which is a difference. I say 999 because I didn't want to crack 1,000. I didn't want people to get concerned because that's getting big. But we're going to have we'll have the most beautiful ballroom in the country.
Why do you need a 90,000 square foot building to hold 999 people? What is he not telling us? So the whole world is going to, the whole world is practically over. This 3D matrix of simulation is done. And everybody's complaining about groceries and bills and all that. And then your president takes $250 million, and I'm sure it's the taxpayers' money, to go create a ballroom. Huh? Wow. To all my people that's been following me for a while, didn't I tell y'all that the earth was going to be balling on them? Didn't I tell y'all? Y'all know. Let me know that in the comments. Now the president purchases a $250 million ballroom. I told y'all the earth is balling on them. Y'all see? But yeah, y'all, he just made history. Let me know that in the comments below. The shift is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
We can now safely say that far more of the White House is being demolished than we were led to believe. So when Donald Trump announced that he's building a $200 million ballroom, he said it wouldn't interfere with the current building at all. In particular, that it wouldn't touch the East Wing. Now, if you look at the latest pictures from the White House, there's very little of the East Wing left. And if the demolition continues, there won't be anything left of it by the weekend. We're assuming it doesn't go any further than that, but at the moment we're just assuming the whole of the East Wing is going to be taken down. Now, there might be a very good reason why they decided to redevelop part of the building instead of constructing an entirely separate building, but we haven't been given any reason whatsoever so far. It could be safety, it could be security, it could be something to do with costs, or maybe the builders came up with something. But at the moment, it doesn't look like there is going to be an East Wing to the White House going into the weekend. And this was a much bigger project than anyone outside the White House, presumably, knew about.
Okay, I need y'all to know how serious this is. By now, I know all or most of us have seen that Trump has started demolishing the East Wing of the White House to build his ballroom. The White House isn't just another government building. It's a protected historic landmark. And there are laws in place that say that there are reviews that need to happen prior to any major construction like this. But as we've seen, the demolition has already started without it being signed off by the National Capital Planning Commission. To think a president is just tearing down walls, erasing history without any public input and without any input from the preservation review or anything signed off even. This is unheard of. And all to build a ballroom while there are families in America that are so food insecure and that benefits are going to be cut off from, while everybody's insurance premium is rising. And they're building a ballroom and they're knocking down the outside structure of the people's house. This is history forever erased. And all I can say is I am so grateful that my daughter was able to take a trip to DC this past summer with her dad and see the White House as it was, because I unfortunately have never had that opportunity, and it'll never be the same again. The damage is already done. I don't care if you're into politics or not. This man is erasing history, and he is changing our country forever.
This is a picture of the East Wing of the White House, which began demolition today to build Trump's $250 million ballroom that no one asked for. This is important because, according to the plans, the existing White House would not be demolished, would have zero interference, and withhold its historical stature. But I guess there are HOAs which are harder to get through than it is to demolish an historical building like the White House. Mind you, this ballroom is being built in a gaudy, very ugly Trump style, just like he destroyed the Oval Office. And this is going to be built, and he's building it like he's not going to not be the president in 3 years. And this is not the only works project. He's building a Trump arc, like an Arc de Triomphe across from the Lincoln Memorial. And he's doing all this stuff while the government is closed, while we're out here detaining people left and right. ICE agents are getting paid, but the military isn't getting paid. Shit is getting crazy. What do you guys think?
I saw this picture of construction crews destroying parts of the East Wing of the White House in order to begin the construction of Trump's ballroom. And I can't think of anything that better encapsulates the experience that we are having as a nation right now than the decision by Donald Trump to destroy a structure that has stood the test of time in order to make room for millionaires and billionaires to have a fancier place to eat dinner, while at the same time the government is shut down. People are not getting paid, while at the same time inflation is up, while at the same time people are losing access to healthcare and watching their premiums skyrocket by hundreds of percentage points, while at the same time groceries are through the roof, while at the same time we have deeper political divisions, racial divisions than we have had in a very long time. While all of those actual issues are happening in this country, Donald Trump and his millionaire and billionaire donors have made the decision to destroy a part of the White House in order to build something opulent and tacky so that Trump can feel better about being insulated with his millionaire and billionaire friends when they have dinner, eating cake while the rest of us are digging for scraps as a byproduct of the cuts that were made in the tax system in order for those same millionaires and billionaires to pay less in taxes, while many of us, myself included, not only pay more, but have life become more expensive. Yeah, there's no picture that better encapsulates what is happening in this country right now than the destruction of the things that we hold dear in order to make millionaires and billionaires feel a little bit more comfortable. I'm one of those people who can hold in tension the history of greatness and atrocities of this country. I'm one of those folks who can hold dear the monuments of this country while at the same time recognizing what they have meant over time. And the White House is one of those places in particular that means something while also recognizing that people who look like me built it against their will. And when Barack Obama was in the White House, it meant more than I could ever put into words. And watching Donald Trump destroy in order to build a Trump ballroom on the East Wing feels like filling in a pool when integration happened. So yeah, that's the state of the country in one picture. And I just want to say as a reminder, we're in this together. Lean on your community, find joy as we fight fascism. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I am freaking furious. I can barely contain my anger over this. The New York Times is now reporting that not only is Donald Trump demolishing part of the East Wing, they're now actually saying that they are going to demolish the entire East Wing of the White House. No approval by Congress, no approval by the elected representatives of the people. He is just taking it upon himself to destroy, completely obliterate part of the White House. That house does not belong to him. He is a temporary resident of that building. He has no right to demolish anything. This alone, could you just imagine if any other president, I'm so sick of saying that, but it's true, any other president doing anything like this? If this were normal times and a president just demolished the entire east wing of the White House without any congressional authorization, he would be impeached and removed from office. No doubt about it. Completely destroying an entire section of the White House. I am so fucking angry.
There's only one conclusion to come to here. They understand the symbolism of this, and it's the whole point. They know exactly what it means to be tearing down buildings owned by the American people to build some gaudy monstrosity named after the big orange toddler. They know exactly what it means to be doing this so publicly at the same time as a government shutdown that means people may not receive food stamps in November. At the same time as rural farmers are losing multi-generational farms due to the tariffs. They know exactly what it means to be doing this at a time when millions upon millions of Americans are receiving the news that their healthcare premiums are going to increase by a totally unaffordable amount. They know exactly what it means to be doing this after a weekend where Trump shared an AI-generated video of himself wearing a crown, dropping shit on peaceful protesters. This isn't bad optics. This is the whole point. I say this with genuine love and compassion, but at what point are you going to start thinking about the ways in which you're playing by the rules and they're not? Paying taxes, being a good little capitalist consumer, towing the line. Millions of Americans are pushing back and have been for months and years, but so many more need to do so for anything to happen. It's going to get so much worse. There is no line they will not cross. And if you're doing nothing or you're just going to the occasional No Kings protest, you need to be doing more. It's hard, and I know it's scary, and I know there are lots of people who've got a lot of other stuff going on. But it is going to get harder and scarier, and there is most definitely a job for you to be doing in the resistance that doesn't necessarily put you in physical harm's way.
Hey, Anthony.
Yeah.
What do you think about Trump demolishing the east wing of the White House to build his ballroom?
It's giving let them eat cake, to be honest.
Yep.
We're at a time when millions of Americans are facing potential food shortages next month because the USDA has officially announced that food stamps, or SNAP, will not be paying out this upcoming November due to the government shutdown, which, as a reminder, is only happening in the first place because Republicans are refusing to extend healthcare subsidies so that low-income Americans can have affordable access to healthcare. And at the same time, a large percentage of our nation's farmers are facing potential bankruptcy because of economic policies that the Trump administration has implemented, such as giving $40 billion to Argentina in order to support another dictator there, while Argentina turns around and sells all of its soybeans to China, which bankrupts the American farmers the soybeans were being brought from in the first place. And we're also facing an economic crisis that I think is going to result in an economic crash in the upcoming months. So millions of Americans are facing poverty, are facing potential food shortages, medical shortages. And what is Trump doing? He's destroying a national monument, the seat of power of the United States, which has existed basically since the U.S.'s inception. And he's in its place building a gaudy ballroom in a move that is very reminiscent of Russian oligarchs, so that he can entertain people that have come to the U.S. to bribe him in a completely unnecessary move, right? It's not even like a ballroom or a venue is needed in D.C. in the first place. There are plenty of places in short distance from the White House that can be used to host the kind of venues that are needed for diplomatic summits. As one example, the Smithsonian often hosts things like that, and there's dozens of other venues in the same place. So it's something that Trump is doing specifically because he wants a gaudy ballroom decked out in white and gold to show off to his rich friends and to people that have come to the U.S. to bribe him, while the population of America is facing starvation.
Yeah, that's the east wing of your White House being torn apart right now. That part of the White House used to welcome the public, host the First Lady's offices, and hide the emergency bunker that was built during World War II. All getting ripped down so that one narcissist can build a ballroom bigger than the White House itself. The East Wing wasn't just decoration. It was added in 1942 to cover the presidential emergency operations. Built after Pearl Harbor and meant to protect democracy should Washington ever be attacked. Later, it became the heart of the First Lady's work. Jackie Kennedy's restoration office was there. Eleanor Roosevelt held press briefings here for female reporters. And Michelle Obama launched the Let's Move campaign from the East Wing. And now bulldozers for a 90,000 square foot ballroom that will seat 600 of his billionaire friends. The East Wing of your White House, What used to symbolize the people's house is now being gutted for one man's ego, an everlasting stain on this country, both figuratively and literally.
They know this looks bad. How do we know that? Because the White House has issued a demand that the construction not be photographed or published. They said, quote, as construction proceeds on the White House grounds, employees should refrain from taking and sharing photographs of the grounds to include the East Wing without prior approval from the Office of Public Affairs. That's what they sent. That was sent by Treasury officials and reviewed by the Wall Street Journal. So the official reason is these pictures that we are looking at, for example, like this picture right here of the White House being demolished, that could potentially reveal sensitive items like security features or confidential structural details. Now, the more realistic explanation seems to be they don't want images of the White House being destroyed under Donald Trump. Normally, a project like this would have a historic preservation review. It would involve multiple agencies. What's the right way to do it? Does it even make sense? Engineering would be involved. None of that happened. The process did not happen. They bypassed the standard review, in large part because some of those key oversight positions aren't even filled by the Trump administration.
So family, that's what Trump's legacy is all about. Building for himself instead of caring for the people he's supposed to serve. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section, okay? And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you find it very interesting. And of course, support the channel by subscribing to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. So see you guys in my next video, family. Bye.